How about now?
I mean, the mic thing is bumping.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what people say.
Just waiting on the chat to stop pressing F to pay respects.
Waiting on the chat.
Come on.
Yeah! Yeah! Thanks, Twitch chat. Welcome to the show. Linus is here. Linus 2.
Yeah. Hi guys, I'm Linus from Maple Ridge, BC. I enjoy socks, sandals, and badminton, and annual employee reviews.
And apparently camping. Linus has gone camping. John's on the show this week. And we have a great show, like every week. I don't even know if we have enough topics to call out in the intro thingy. But
yeah, we do.
A bunch of tech YouTubers were accused of not disclosing Computex sponsorships or being paid to go to booths and all this other kind of stuff. Jay from Jay's 2 Cents has already released a full video about this. I know a lot of people have been talking about this on a lot of tech reviewers have been talking about this on Twitter.
I'm not sure who else did like a full-on video besides Jay, but I know that Paul and Kyle and I think also some others at least addressed it on Twitter. So.
Yeah, Gamers Nexus was talking about it as well. Like a lot of people were talking about it on Twitter, and then I know Jay made a full dedicated video. Outside of that, I'm not entirely sure. But we'll talk about that. Unsurprisingly, everyone in the YouTube tech review scene is friends. So this got slammed down pretty fast with a collective effort of like, what the F, that's bull poop. Anyways, moving on, we'll talk about that more later. There's a rumor that an 8-core version of the 8700K is coming this fall. People are thinking that they're just kind of, Intel's just kind of reacting to AMD because they don't really seem to have a logical roadmap anymore, but we'll talk about that later. Also, AT&T closes the Time Warner deal. Is this like straight up like for sure?
According, so I actually
your arms look huge.
Thanks, dude.
You're a machine. I'm sorry, he's off camera.
Yeah, Nick is over here off camera flexing for us and trying to distract us from the show with his pythons. But yes, I talked about this on TechLink today. But yeah, yes, this deal is apparently final. So the judge approved it like 2 days ago, and I think they were just sort of chomping at the bit to get it done. So
wow. Okay. Also, we've got Apple is trying to stop developers from sharing data on users' friends. That sounds good.
Probably.
Yeah. I don't know. A rumor that there's an AMD Radeon RX 680, which like an expected price range of like $300 to $400, and a rumor that Windows 10 is going to run on a Google Pixelbook, which is pretty weird, but probably a good idea. And
we're going to talk about Smash Brothers Ultimate briefly for a minute, maybe. So yeah, that's going to happen.
Oh yeah, that's actually pretty sweet. Okay.
There are no good topics today. Oh, wait, Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Yeah, but then like things that other people care about other than me.
People care about this.
Should I go? Do you want it? That would be pretty cool. Yeah. Sure. Oh, right. Sponsors. MOS Blackpack, Savage Jerky, and LTX. Wow.
We're sponsoring ourselves.
It's amazing. Okay. And set that back and here.
We have so much ill-gotten money according to this first topic we're going to talk about that we can just sponsor ourselves.
Yeah, which I think we're going to bring Nick on for. So the first topic of the day is going to be the tech YouTubers accused of not...
Oh, you're getting up, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just like stand in the back awkwardly. Sure. I'll do a slab squat in the back.
Yeah, but well, you're getting owned by the microphone.
It's okay. I'll figure it out. Yeah, tech YouTubers accused of not disclosing Computex sponsorships. So Nick had the great idea of coming down as our businessman to directly address.
Sure. It's pretty simple. If we're paid by someone, we tell you. That's literally it. Yes, we visit sponsors' booths. Yes, we create coverage at sponsors' booths. We say that right at the beginning of the video, at the end of the video. We do not charge an appearance fee to show up at a booth. Brands reach out to us. They say we have interesting stuff and you should check it out. And we say, okay, sure, we might check it out. And sometimes we do and sometimes we don't. And that's literally how we do it. So if you are concerned that the content that you're watching is paid for, just check the beginning of the video. And if it says this is sponsored by so-and-so, then yes. And if it doesn't say that, then no. And it'll also say that in the video description. So it's literally that simple for us. Yeah, that's it. Cool.
Yeah. Short and to the point.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
I don't know. It's from my perspective. It's like I don't know. It's literally that simple. If we're paid by someone, we say it, and if we don't say it, then we're not paid by them to make that content. That's it. Yeah. Anyway, cool.
And I'll add some like more kind of anecdotes, but that's more or less it. I think most people in the tech review space do sort of the same deal. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head who doesn't disclose sponsorships that I've been able to notice. But like if at a lot of the shows that I've done, it's changed a little bit since I've been doing a lot of shows. But at a lot of the shows that I've done, the majority of the videos that come out of that show have nothing to do with the sponsorship for that show. So like say Corsair, because they sponsored a bunch of shows that I did in the past. Yeah, say Corsair is sponsoring it.
They were a sponsor at Computex. So
that works.
We created 10 videos at Computex. One video was at the Corsair suite. They were a sponsor of the show. We said that it was sponsored by them. The other sponsor that we had was LastPass, who wasn't at the show and isn't a computer manufacturer, so wouldn't be at the show.
So 90% of the videos were not about the sponsor at Computex. Yeah. So 9 out of 10 videos were not about Corsair. And oftentimes we'll have it where like I'm going to use Corsair again. I've done a show at PAX where Corsair was the sponsor, and I covered like 3 or 4 competitors all positively, and that was fine, and everyone was okay, and Corsair was happy, and we were happy, and everyone else was happy.
And just my experience with this, which is like obviously a lot more limited than someone like Luke, but it's been a couple of years since I've been to a show for the company with CES. But a big part of my job when I was at CES that year was just go around and find interesting stuff. Sponsorship money, none of those sorts of considerations had nothing to do with what I was doing. It was just walk around, take notes. If something is interesting, get some B-roll of it. Maybe we can do a video on it. That was literally it. There was never anything shady exchanged in the background. So yeah.
And that's another important point that I didn't mention. But like we don't do anything where someone says you can't do this. All of our sponsorships are just about what we can do. We don't do like exclusivity with anyone in the computer space at all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It would be a bad idea for us too, is tying our hands as to what we can do, which makes no sense from a business perspective.
This is the thing that always makes me kind of chuckle is that people go, "Oh, you guys just want money. You just want money." If you think we're all about money, what would be more intelligent? Taking some money now and potentially losing the trust of viewers, or taking more money in the long term while maintaining the trust of viewers and partners? Like, if you just think we're all about money, the smart choice is for us to be honest about who we're being paid by.
Because then we have longevity. And when you have a company of 20-odd people, I don't know the exact number, but somewhere around there, and Linus Media Group is indirectly kind of propping up Floatplane right now. Like, that's a lot of people and literally companies to support. You want a long-term solution. You don't want a burst of money in a short period of time.
I think when scandals or alleged scandals like this pop up, people tend to concentrate on short-term, like, oh, we have evidence of like this one deal that has this like impressive dollar amount on it maybe. And that's obviously like, oh, we have evidence of a thing that may have happened one time, you know, and that I think gets eyeballs, it gets clicks, as opposed to what you were just talking about where, oh, we're trying to like make as much as we can through like a long-term review of things and what's going to be sustainable for the long term. That isn't particularly interesting to someone who wants to read about a YouTuber scandal. So.
And like most tech YouTubers that I know of that I've watched their show coverage of do it in generally the same way that we do. I'm not saying anyone's copying each other. I'm not getting into that. That doesn't matter. But it's you go to the show, you do like your little, right at the beginning of the video, call out, thank you for bringing me to the show. You make a video about whatever happens to be there. That'll probably include 1 to 2 videos of the company that brought you, plus a whole ton. Like the last show we were at, 90% of the videos were from unrelated companies. And then at the end of the video, you often do another call out, thank you for bringing me to Computex, and then you move on. It's worked the same way for like 5 years or something.
I think we're probably like on the more aggressive end of like actually doing content with sponsors. Like that's what made me laugh about this like list or whatever was that like Gamers Nexus was included.
Yeah.
And they're like the least chilly people you could think of.
They will destroy everyone. Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, I didn't want to make the whole show about this. I just figured we might as well like.
Yeah, I know. Sure. Well, it was important to address because I know a lot of the other tech guys have been really vocal about this on Twitter, and Jay made the video, and I don't think we've really talked about it much.
We don't typically.
We use the WAN Show for that kind of stuff.
So we decided to talk about it a little bit. But
yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Okay,
thanks,
thank you,
Nick. So yeah, if you want a little bit more information on stuff, you can watch Jay's video. I don't remember exactly what it's titled, but I think it's his second most recent video. Give me 1 second. It's called The Truth About How I Earn Money. And it's kind of cool because he goes into more stuff than just shows. He runs down basically the breadth of his business. He talks about the merchandising line. He talks about other deals that he's done and how he's trying to grow stuff like his personal branded merch and whatnot.
It's a little bit like the Honest Answers video that Linus did about how we make money. Although we're not accusing Jay of copying us or anything like that. No. It's just a good thing to do, I think. So.
Yeah, I think it was really good timing and a good idea for Jay to do his now. And we did ours a while ago.
Yes.
For I believe a similar reason. I don't remember, or not.
I don't think there was one big specific event. I think just there was a lot
of fans were questioning.
I think there was a lot of toxicity, in the comment sections of some of our videos between the Intel fans, the AMD fans, the Nvidia fans, all going at each other and trying to say, "Oh, here's which company's line is favoring."
Was it the Nvidia shill thing or something like that?
I think it
because I remember in that video we talked about how Nvidia's given us almost nothing. We just make a lot of videos about them because people like their stuff, and they release a lot of stuff.
They're huge. I mean, they're the biggest player in the GPU industry, so we kind of
and GPU videos do really well. So yeah, we have our Honest Answers thing. Jay has his Truth About How I Make Money. I recommend watching both of them. I find them both very interesting.
Yes.
Even our I knew all of ours already, but even ours I think was quite good. And yeah, the fact that Gamers Nexus was included is hilarious because they just rip holes in everything.
They do.
So
their stuff is so technical and in depth, and if any YouTuber is going to try to get away with that kind of thing, they would have the hardest road to getting away with it. So why I don't know, but
anyways, moving on to a rumor. Love them rumors. We went from a rumor about us to a rumor about a tech company. This is a wonderful show.
It's much less spicy, though.
Based on hardcore, definite facts. So anyways, there's a rumor about an 8-core version of an 8700K that could be coming this fall. This is by Guru 3D, and it was posted by Rakanoth on the forum. I'm going to post this into the Twitch chat real quick. Whoa, what did I just do? What am I doing? I wasn't holding control. I see. There we go. But yeah, it's people are kind of speculating that this wasn't really planned for. Oh, that sucks. Am I using the right thing? And whether or not it was planned for, it does seem quite reactionary. Maybe it was coming. I suspect even if it was coming, it was going to be coming later than it did end up coming.
I kind of think the truth is probably somewhere in the middle as we try to get our technical issues worked out here.
Yeah. Want to keep going with that?
Yes, I will. Okay, so, but yeah, what I was going to say was, there's a question here in front of me. Does Intel even have their own roadmap anymore, or are they just being reactionary towards what AMD is doing? It might be a little bit of both, because there we go, it's working now. All of Intel's difficulties trying to get a 10 nanometer chip to market have been very, very well documented, right? When are they going to originally release 10 nanometer? A year ago, 2 years ago, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have to do something to keep innovating, quote unquote innovating in the meantime. But AMD, did they force Intel's hand here? Maybe a little bit. I do think it's really ironic that we're seeing. So what? It's how many years has it been since the FX series from AMD came out? 7 years or so.
Quite a while, yeah.
Something like that. So it's so ironic now, I think, that Intel is reacting and trying to compete with AMD just by strapping more cores onto a CPU, because an 8-core i7 is not something we've seen on the mainstream consumer end. You had to originally, or before, you had to buy an enthusiast platform, an enthusiast motherboard to do that. So, but 8-core version apparently coming this fall. No pricing information on that yet, but it's interesting because obviously it is going to be the most cores we've ever seen from Intel on a consumer platform. But but it is kind of funny, seeing as the big knock on AMD for a long time was, they're selling these 6 and 8 core CPUs, but who cares? they're not really giving anyone a benefit. So
yeah, but the thing was, especially back then, with Intel having so much of the market share, no one was able to develop for that reasonably. So now having AMD CPUs matter a lot more, to be completely honest. And having Intel have to react to that and pump out a bunch of more cores, meaning there's a lot more cores across the field, meaning it'll make a lot more sense for developers to push for it, which would be really cool because I don't know if you guys remember this, but I used to make cores for gaming videos. And I would do like, oh, it's summer 2014. How many cores do you need to game with? And we stopped after I made like 3 or 4 of them because we were like, well, you could watch any of these and get the answer because it was the same thing every single time. So hopefully this will actually mix that up.
Definitely.
And we can make another cores for gaming video.
Yeah, and obviously there's been development challenges just with how, the stuff is actually coded to spread the workload out among more cores, but there might be more effort put into that now that what you were saying, there's just more cores out there where you have a chip with 4 cores, 8 threads, or 6 and 12 is just a more mainstream choice now. So
it's you always have to have one. Obviously, the software or the hardware has to come first. Yeah. Usually, it's easier for the industry if the hardware comes first. I know with certain games that have come out and stuff, it's been like, oh, wow, hardware really isn't ready for this yet.
Yeah, like nothing can run this.
Exactly. And then that's usually a fairly uncomfortable spot for the industry to be in. It's fun. I enjoy that space, but it's fairly uncomfortable for consumers to be constantly needing to replace all their stuff to be able to do anything. So having the hardware first is good. So if we can get 8 core out there and get people used to it and have developers start using it more often, that would be pretty sweet and awesome.
Absolutely.
It is a little bit of a kick in the pants for people who recently, I know someone specifically who just bought a new processor. That being said, this isn't coming until fall, so it will be a little while. But the 8086, i7 8086K, just came out.
Yeah, that was,
and it's pretty sweet, but
that was a nice little stunt for however many weeks that was the chip to get, but
and then now it's coming this fall, you've got an 8-core version of an 8700K, so
it's like what if you spend a ton of money and you buy a house and the house has trim where it's where the cabinets are a certain color or a certain style that was in for literally a month.
Yeah.
And then everyone thinks it's ugly. So if you buy the expensive CPU, it's a bit like that. So.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't give 2 craps about cabinets, but I totally understand the reference.
Gotta get that resale value, man.
It's great when you walk into someone's house who's been perfectly maintained, done a really good job of keeping their house up, but they haven't changed a single thing in it since the mid-90s.
They have lurid pink wallpaper with a weird...
Awesome.
Yeah,
it's actually so cool. Yeah. It's like a time capsule. Okay, and moving on to something that I know nothing about at all, so good luck. AT&T closes the Time Warner deal. This sounds terrible to me. I don't know anything about it. A federal judge ruled on Tuesday that AT&T's $85.4 billion bid for Time Warner was legal, imposing no conditions on the merger. All of this despite a lawsuit from the Justice Department arguing that the deal would be anti-competitive. And oh my goodness, how is it not? I don't understand.
I can tell you a little bit about that.
Please do. Give me 1 quick second before you do that.
Sure.
I kind of bait and switched you there. We're going to use TheVerge.com for our source. And thank you to Sherman Tanker for posting this on the forum. You're good to go.
Okay. So when I was in law school, just a quick disclaimer, I didn't learn a ton about antitrust. If you watch Tech Wiki and the videos we've sort of done on law and tech, a lot of it has to do with intellectual property because I took a lot of intellectual property in law school. So talking about copyrights and what you can do with content online and how you can share it and that sort of thing. But here's what I can tell you about antitrust, and just in case you don't even know what antitrust is, antitrust law basically concerns companies that get too big. The idea of antitrust law is to prevent monopolies, is to prevent one company dominating the marketplace for a certain thing. Imagine if the only company out there making monitors was LG, for example. That wouldn't be good. You would have no choice on what you could buy. So with this, what's happening is AT&T, which is obviously a huge telecommunications company. They run, back in the day, they were most known for running phone networks. These days, they're a huge ISP. They just bought Time Warner, which includes some really big media properties. HBO, CNN, Warner Brothers, basically everything Warner Brothers does is owned by Time Warner. So what this is called a vertical merger, and the reason it's called a vertical merger is because you have one company buying another company that does something different, or more specifically, one company provides the other company with supplies or a supply chain, right? So in this case, Time Warner is providing content. They're providing, like I said, they own HBO and CNN, so they're providing Game of Thrones or The Sopranos or the Wolf Blitzer show or whatever people watch on CNN. I don't know. I don't watch CNN anymore, but AT&T is the ISP, so they're providing the content that AT&T can deliver down their pipes. So that's what we mean by a vertical merger. There's also a horizontal merger, which is a little bit simpler, where one company buys another company that does basically the same thing. Imagine if UPS bought FedEx, for example. Right, that would be a horizontal merger. But so when the government...
So is that a vertical merger would be like you buy functionality, and a horizontal merger would almost be like you buy market share?
Yeah, that's not a bad way to put it.
Roughly?
You're buying functionality, you're buying supplies, to help you somehow, Right. So imagine if McDonald's had their own farms. That would be vertical integration,
Tesla has purchased a few manufacturing companies.
Yeah.
And companies that are into tools and manufacturing and whatnot. So that probably helps them vertically.
I'm not sure exactly how to classify that, because I think it was sort of
also manufacturing.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but anyway, so specifically talking about this, so the Justice Department of the U.S. took AT&T to court, afraid that this would make AT&T too big. There's an antitrust concern here with just way too much market power. But legally, it is, and I was actually looking at the judge's decision, which is 200 pages long and full of legalese, obviously, earlier. But one key thing he mentioned was that in a horizontal merger, courts usually have a little bit easier time deciding. You can just say, oh, you're buying another company that does something similar, so let's just look at how much market share you'll have now. And if it's too much market share, we'll just say you can't do this, and it's easy. A vertical merger is a lot more difficult because you're buying a company that does something else. So these sorts of cases, they tend to be very fact-intensive. It's very case-by-case basis. And just based on that alone, the government immediately already had a tougher time proving its case to go in front of a judge and say, hey, AT&T buying Time Warner is going to be really bad for consumers. It wasn't good enough to get the court to buy it, and the judge said, get out, and they let AT&T do the merger, and that's kind of it.
So people are saying this in Twitch chat, and I
there's one guy that just says bored within all that.
But other than that, dude, that happens on every story we talk about, though. Someone said this in Twitch chat, and I've read this before online. In the 80s or something, they broke up AT&T because it was too big.
Yeah.
And now they're letting them merge and become bigger.
The idea back then, and obviously you and I were both. Well, what year were you born?
I was not alive.
Okay, Luke didn't exist, and I was tiny in the 80s. I was born in 87. But back in the 80s, before everyone had the internet, AT&T ran a bunch of, they provided, don't completely quote me on this, but I think what happened is they had both long distance and local telephone service, and they just controlled so much of the telephone market.
I know they were a huge deal in telephone back in the day.
Yeah, they could just control so much of the telephone market, and what ended up happening is the U.S. government broke up their local operations into, they call them the baby bells, and these were companies that were spun off as independent, but they served different chunks, geographical chunks of the U.S. But that's a little bit different because we're talking about the same thing as phone service. This is a little bit different because you have an ISP buying the folks who own HBO.
Right.
It's a little bit different.
AT&T was divested in 1983 by the United States government. It had natural monopoly over the telecommunication lines, such as telegraph and telephone.
Exactly.
And they were the only group, basically.
That's right. So,
so that's quite a bit different than it is now. Yeah. The baby bells were stripped up into pieces,
like Bell South,
Atlantic Bell, etc. They've slowly consolidated back into companies like AT&T, Verizon.
Yeah, that's right. When I was a kid, our local phone provider was Bell South, and they were one of the ex AT&T companies. So
interesting. Okay. All right, well, moving on from that, just in case you're hashtag bored,
and
that dude in chat was.
And it was really funny because this happens right as the net neutrality repeal was a thing. So
yeah.
So hopefully there won't be fast lanes for Game of Thrones, but I guess if you're a Game of Thrones fanatic, you'll be happy about that. But
the most pirated show. Let's see how that goes for them. Apple tries to stop developers from sharing data on their users' friends. This immediately sounds like a good thing to me, but I don't really know yet. It's posted by Inover5 on the forum, and the source we're going to use is Bloomberg.com.
I always feel so pro when we use Bloomberg as a source.
Bloomberg.
Like, because you turn on Bloomberg TV, there's always financial stuff going on.
I didn't even know Bloomberg TV was a thing.
It just seems very pro, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
It has a cool name.
Okay,
Apple Inc. changed its App Store rules last week to limit how developers use information about iPhone owners' friends and other contacts, quietly closing a loophole that let app makers store and share data without many people's consent. Yay! Good thing. Thank you, Apple, for closing a said loophole. I think that's kind of the gist of it. I'm going to get this nice lady off the screen because I don't know what she's actually talking about, and we're going to go back to here. But yeah, apparently many developers ask users for access to their phone's contacts, only use it for marketing, or sometimes share and sell the information, all without permission from the people listed in those digital address books. That's the problem, is that your phone, your address book, those people's information, other companies running apps are able to take that and sell it. Whereas that's supposed to maybe only be used for like sharing things or seeing if you have other friends that are online. You know how some games you can like import your address book and then see if your friends are online? Well, they might sell that, and that's bad.
I feel like this is a GDPR thing, or it might be. Like they may have done this in response to GDPR. Like that's just me speculating, but it seems like the timing seems like that might be why.
Well, I think...
Because this sounds like something that will be absolutely not allowed by the GDPR.
Yeah.
Where your data is getting used and you have no idea what's going on with it.
I just think in this case, both companies might be at fault.
Yes.
I think Apple's trying to close their end, but this is also a problem for app developers.
They would both be in trouble under that law. For Apple for not like securing the data and passing it on, and then the app developers for using it without permission. So
Apple's probably just taking care of that because it needs to be taken care of. The new App Store review guidelines bar the new App Store review guidelines bar developers from making databases of address book information they gather from iPhone users. Sharing and selling that database with third parties is now forbidden. Probably should have been already, but whatever. Yeah. An app can't get a user's contact list, say it's being used for one thing, and then use it again for something else unless the developer gets consent again. Obviously, this can still be abused, but I think it's a vector for Apple to rip you off the App Store. So if they catch you doing this, you'll get tossed.
Right.
Anyone caught breaking the rules may be banned. This sounds like an extremely easy rule to break, and probably not that hard of a rule to get away with breaking. But at least they have it written out now that they can give you the boot if you do break it. When users like honestly,
it does. This whole thing reminds me. The reason I'm laughing a little bit is of. In Android P, I think they took away the ability for apps to use your camera and microphone in the background, which was cool, but I was like, what were they doing before?
Yeah.
Like, what were they just listening to me like all the time before Android P? So I don't...
When users install apps and then consent, developers get dozens of potential data points on people's friends. Contact lists contain phone numbers, email addresses, profile photos, and tons of other stuff, as you probably know. So that database of information is probably quite valuable. So now what they'll probably have to do is sell it to themselves as another company and then anonymize the data and sell it that way. So it'll add one more loop that they have to jump through for Apple to not be able to catch them. So
all right.
At least Apple has cleaned their hands, but this will still remain an issue, just in case anyone was wondering. Moving on.
I just sort of assume that everyone on the internet just knows everything about me.
Yeah.
Easier way to live.
Yeah. Yeah. Another rumor, because this show, again, is only about things that are confirmed 100% true. Rumor, AMD Radeon RX 680. The Radeon RX 680 will reportedly be powered by the Navi GPU architecture and will feature 8 gigabytes of GDDR6 with the performance of the GTX 1080 or GTX 1080 Ti or so, and an expected price range of $300 to $400.
That's actually really good, because looking at the stories about what NVIDIA is going to be, allegedly, because like you said, these are all 100% confirmed facts on this show. But anyway, seriously, there was everyone saying, or a lot of people were saying, July 30th for what's the code name for the next not Volta, but it's Twitch chat is probably screaming at me with it right now. I was writing about this earlier today and I've already forgotten it.
NVIDIA roadmap. What is your thing called? Nope, that's old.
Just search.
That's Volta.
Hold on,
at the top.
I'll get it here. Hold on. Twitch chat is streaming at me right now, I'm sure. Turing. Like
oh yeah,
like
Turing or
machine.
Ampere.
So,
Ampere was the one I had in my head.
So they're supposed to be releasing
Snorkel.
They're supposed to be releasing Turing at the end of July, but it's just going to be the higher end silicon to begin with, as is tradition, you know?
Yeah.
So the rumor is that the high end card will cost between $1,000 and $1,500 depending on how much VRAM you get with it. So something like this could be really appealing if you can say, oh, well, I don't have $1,000, but I can spend $350 on something with 1080-like performance. So
yeah, someone in chat said, please make this square bracket anecdote poopy for mining and great for gaming. I doubt it. 8 gigs of GDDR6 should probably be pretty smoking for mining.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you can, really make a card like that. You know what I mean? Because
memory is super important for mining.
Oh no, I know, but my point is just more like if he's worried about price. This looks like it will be affordable, because obviously there's this huge artificial inflation with the pricing.
We'll have to see. Like immediately after this card
boom.
comes out, a bunch of miners are going to get their hands on it. A bunch of miners will get their hands on it.
We're both.
And we'll
I feel like we're
back.
both slow today. It's been like a long week.
Yeah, it has been a long week. So we'll see how it goes. But looking at its price point, looking at its performance, this could be a big card for mining. But mining isn't all super hype right now.
Yeah,
so maybe it'll be okay.
Things change quickly. Yeah, like a couple months ago, it was a completely different story. And also, this is an interesting side note. AMD will release a Navi 20 on 7nm as a high-end GPU in the 2020 to 2021 timeframe.
Oh boy!
So 7nm GPU from AMD. So keep your eyes out for that.
They're smashing it, man. It's cool. I'm happy for them. Speaking of happy, Savage Jerky. I have a new favorite. It's Mojo Jalapeno.
That's habanero, my friend.
Habanero?
No, that was habanero. Sorry. No, the other one. We have another thing over there that says habanero. I'm very sorry. It is mojo jalapeno. I
was like, holy cow, I'm slow today.
No, I'm slow today. Look at me.
Anyways,
screwing up the sponsor bit.
This is my new favorite one. I haven't had it before. Mojo is my main squeeze before. But now I've got some mojo jalapeno in my life, and I like it very much. Is there any one of these you like? Would you want one?
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, sriracha bacon.
Done. This is a new pack. There you go.
Oh my goodness.
Perfect.
Sriracha bacon, in case...
I prefer their straight up beef jerky.
They're both really good.
They are really good.
They're both very, very good.
To be fair, anyone who has the bacon flavors, I prefer the beef jerky ones over.
Oh, okay. So it's
not
personal preference.
Yeah. It's not a Savage Jerky specific thing.
So whether you like dead pig or dead cow, Savage Jerky will have something for you.
Got you covered. Especially if you want some jalapeno. You guys know these guys as of now. It's like the least surprising sponsor spot ever.
Savage Jerky is to the WAN Show as FreshBooks is to TechWiki by this point.
Pretty much.
And that's a good thing.
Their jerky is made with great ingredients. No nitrates, no preservatives. They've got 13 different types of jerky. 13 different flavors of jerky, I should say. People seem to love the sriracha bacon. I'm super not surprised that John grabbed that one. Maple buffalo bacon is also super popular. They also make barbecue sauce, hot sauce, and spice rubs. They also have Carolina Reaper hot sauce, which is
the world's hottest pepper.
Yes. It's not the world's hottest hot sauce, so you can actually like eat it and it's fine. But it is made with the world's hottest pepper, which is pretty insane. They've even got an awesome Savage Jerky gift tool bag. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Which includes 4 packs of jerky, hot sauce, herb blend, or spice rub, and it makes an awesome gift. I've never seen
Want to
that.
bring up a picture of it?
Yeah. Give me a sec. Savage Jerky tool bag.
Is pronouncing the H in herb a Canadian thing? A lot of Americans
It's a British thing. I think Canadians flip it back and forth.
Interesting.
Because herb and herb both sound perfectly fine to me.
There you go.
Because Canadians are weird.
The more you know.
Here it is. What the heck? That's a but you get a Husky tool bag. A straight up Husky tool bag is included. Okay. I was expecting that was going to be like kind of a fake-o part of it, but it is not. You get 4 bags of jerky, 1 bottle of hot sauce, 1 bottle of herb blend or spice rub, 1 Savage Jerky koozie. I've screwed that up before. I think I called it a kazoo.
Oh, like the
but
instrument?
it's a koozie.
That's great.
And 2 Savage Jerky stickers. That's actually pretty cool. And this isn't in my notes, but I always warn people when there's certain special dates coming up on my Twitter, but I'll do a WAN Show warning here. It's Father's Day on Sunday. So if you need something and they can get it to you fast enough, I don't know what their shipping speed is, but this might be a decent idea. Jumping back to other sponsors, let's do... Right, and sorry, Savage Jerky, but the link over here, savagejerky.com, use offer code LTT, save 10%. So you can save money on the tool bag if you want to get that, or you can just buy some bacon and save money on it. Saving money on bacon's always a good thing. And moving on, we have MOS Backpacks. I love these bags, and I do the same thing every time because it just makes me super happy. But all of their bags have this really bright orange inside. And it's lovely how well it shows up on camera too, because it's just awesome, and it really proves my point. It's extremely easy to find stuff in here. Let's grab Mojo Jalapeno. It even has orange on it. It's still going to be super easy to find.
Cross-branding.
Look, it's right there. Look how easy that is. It's a black package in a bag. That's often really, really hard to find because most people make their bags with black insides.
It's like a small touch that makes a big difference, you know?
It really does.
Yeah.
I have a backpack that has an orange inside, and I will never, ever go back. It also has the air porter zippers, so you can lay your bag out like that. Really easy. So you can get through everything super wide open. It's got nice little mesh things. You can have a bottle in there or some cards or whatever. It has a little card that explains how you can use it if you don't want to listen to me. And I like this too. You guys aren't going to be able to see this very well, but in the thin top zipper, you know how a lot of bags will have the small zipper at the top? This one right here. If you open that up, the pocket inside is like a reinforced area. It's not... I don't think it's plastic or anything. And it's covered in a felt-like material. I probably called it wrong. I'm not very good at identifying materials. But it's a very soft type of material that's on top of some formed cup-like shape. So if you put something in there that's relatively fragile and you have big stuff in here that whacks into it, it'll be okay because the cup thing is going to keep its shape and protect whatever you put inside. That's actually kind of cool. That's a good idea. Definitely. I haven't really seen that in a lot of bags before. We're showing off their other one as well. If you want, this is the Blackpack, if you want a different type of bag. One thing that I really like about these guys too is they'll have, on different bags, they'll have this guy. Can I pull this out? Aha, it's a wall plug. Why do you need a wall plug for your backpack? Well, it nicely tucks on the side of the bag as well, so you don't even have to open up your bag to get access, or you don't have to open up the main compartments of your bag to get access to it. That wall plug is for this. This has a standard plug, so you plug your laptop or something into it. It has 2 USB ports. One of them is already plugged in because the cable feeds through to the front of the case, but you could unplug it and put whatever you want in there. The cable that comes with it is actually nice. It's reinforced with a spring so that the cable isn't going to, get damaged in your bag, which makes sense because it's going to stay in your bag. I don't know. I think that's wonderful because you could just get home, plug your bag into the wall, and it automatically charges everything that's in it.
Just waiting around at the airport, you just want to charge all your stuff at once. Boom, done.
Someone tweeted me after the last MOS Blackpack sponsorship, talking about like, oh, that's just expecting trouble because someone's going to plug it into the wall and walk away from it, and it's going to get determined as a bomb. Just don't
walk away from your bag.
Don't walk away from it.
Like
most of the plugs in airports, people designing these airports generally know that people want to charge their stuff. So most of the plugs are near seats. Have a sit. Do whatever you need to do. If you want to go get some food or go to the washroom, unplug, take your backpack with you like you normally would so that people don't think it's a bomb in an airport. That's like they say over the loudspeakers the whole time, do not leave luggage unattended. It is still luggage, despite having a plug.
That was what I was going to say. Like, I'm pretty sure they would treat it, an unattended bag, as suspicious, even if there weren't a cable sticking out of it.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. So
Yeah. So that has nothing to do with anything. Great backpacks. I love the plug feature. I love the orange. I love the cup thing that they're doing. But yeah, check it out at the link below if you are on YouTube, or just check them out on Kickstarter. If you look MOS Backpacks on Kickstarter. Interesting. And you should be good to go. I think they're doing another campaign because these guys definitely have had laptops out before. I personally know someone who has bought them off of their website, so I'm assuming it's a new thingy they're doing on Kickstarter.
sounds like it.
I'm assuming that's the Blackpack that they're Kickstartering. Anyways, beyond there, we have LTX Expo. If you want to come visit the team, meet me, even though I'm not on the team, that makes sense. Come to LTX. It's a meetup and interactive tech event. The interactive part here is important. I feel like it always takes away... I feel like we need to get like testimonials from people that go next time so we can play them in this section.
It isn't just an event about passive absorption of things.
I feel like it takes a little bit away from it because it's an event we're holding and I'm the one talking about it. But LTX is legitimately one of the coolest events I've been to. I've only been to one because there's only been one. But the interactive part is super cool because you go to these conventions, and when I went to conventions when I was younger, they were a little bit more grungy, a little bit less planned out. And there was a little bit more hand-on action because like I remember PAX when I first went there, they'd just be hucking prizes out of the booths. There'd be more hands-on stuff because it
was a smaller con.
They weren't as worried about things. Then they started getting in trouble for different stuff and they had to close it down. We are keeping that in mind. We don't want to get in trouble for stuff, but we're keeping all the booths interactive. So like one of the really cool things that's coming this year is how to delid your CPU. So you can bring a CPU and you will have professional people showing you how to delid it in person. Where else can you get that? I literally think nowhere. Really cool. Every single booth is going to have some type of interactive setup with it. Current booths include a blind cable management competition brought to you by Cable Mod, a delidding workshop, so you can bring your CPUs and we'll show you how to delid it, Case Toss 2.0.
Hopefully you'll do better than I did.
Multi-headed VR, a 20 PC LAN brought to you by iBuyPower, the 12K ultra-wide gaming setup, and tons more. I guarantee you there will be tons more. There is already tons more. I don't know why it's not listed here, probably just because there'd be way too much to say. There's also going to be food, music, cool systems to look at, more room, more swag, and more special guests than last year. There will be exclusive live unboxings just like last year, and more. You can come hang out with us. The tickets start at $35 Canadian, and you can check them out through the link below, or because you're watching on Twitch right now, unless you're watching this later, I said right now, and that's relative. So if you're watching it at 5:49 Pacific time, on Friday, then the link is just ltxexpo.com. But if not, link below.
It's only $26.50 USD for our American viewers. It's nothing.
It's not that expensive, and it's a really fun convention. I want people to go. I want people to go because I want to keep doing it because it's literally last year's was more fun for me than last year's PAX was, and I've been going to PAX since I was.
Yeah, no, last year's LTX was very enjoyable. I
cool.
agree 100% with that.
Even like as an attendee, I'm going to be 100% honest here. I didn't invite most of my like personal friends to LTX last year,
dude, yeah.
because I was like, it's probably just going to be a fan meetup. There's going to be a few things to do, but it's probably mostly going to be a fan meetup. And then I was like, holy crap, I feel pretty bad because it was really fun, and none of them came, so I didn't invite them. So wrecked. But they're invited this year because it'll be good. Moving back to normal news. Whoop, wrong screen.
I gotta stop eating that savage jerky, man. It's so good.
Nope, keep going. Who cares?
Okay.
It's your bag as far as I'm concerned.
That's true.
You don't have to stop. Let's move on. New iOS security feature has already been bypassed. Oh boy. This was posted by Captain to Fire on the forum, and our source is the forum. But yeah, iOS 12 introduces a new USB restricted mode that makes it harder for law enforcement agencies to thwart iPhone security. USB restricted mode requires that an iPhone be unlocked with a passcode when connected to a computer via USB if the device has not already been unlocked in the last hour. Wow. Meaning phone hacking and forensic tools shouldn't be able to unlock phones. In an email obtained by Vice, a forensic expert claims that Grayshift has already defeated Apple's new USB restricted mode in a beta build. USB restricted mode is currently in beta testing and will launch to the public soon, according to Apple. Whew.
It's this big, like, cat and mouse game between Apple and the government.
Yeah.
And this is just the latest chapter of that. There was some, district attorney down in Louisiana who was saying that Apple was literally promoting criminal activity by doing this. And I'm just sitting here like, if you want people to take you seriously and be on your side, maybe don't say things like that. But regardless of how you feel about it, the fact that it's already been defeated is a little bit humorous to me, just because, like I said, there's this constant arms race between it's just like Apple and these law enforcement folks because the FBI has been lobbying for years and years to try to force Apple to have a back door into their products if they want to do an investigation. So,
yeah, I think it could have something to do with the beta-ness of the build because they beat it on the beta.
Possibly.
And we have had security firms lie about beating Apple's security before. Mm-hmm. Eventually, they've kind of figured it out, but they've lied in the early terms.
What do we know about Grayshift?
Who knows? Off the top of my head, not a ton. I've heard of them before. Grayshift. They sell phone unlocking services. Grayshift iPhone unlocker. Mysterious $15,000 Gray key promises to unlock iPhone X for whatever. Yeah, they're a phone unlocking thing. I've heard of them before. I just wasn't sure. To be fair, if it's them, I'm starting to remember a little bit more about them now. If it's them, they probably did it.
Oh.
So wrecked, I guess. Yeah. Oh well. We'll see if it holds through with the beta, but even if it doesn't, when you've got groups like Grayshift consistently going after your stuff and making a profit on it in a government sanctioned way, you're probably boned.
Yeah, because you have an incentive.
Essentially, everything's hackable, right? So like
at some point, yeah.
That sucks. Microsoft to help Walmart get rid of cashiers. Oh my. Microsoft is reportedly working on, this was posted by no one, maybe? But our source is arstechnica.com. Microsoft is reportedly working on technology that removes the need for cashiers and checkout lines in stores, similar to Amazon's technology already implemented in its Amazon Go brick and mortar store. So Microsoft is essentially doing the same thing as them. The exact technology isn't explained, but it may be linked to the company's new Connect for Azure project. This project builds on Connect's current abilities and can be used to execute spatial mapping and motion tracking. While it's unclear how far along Microsoft is in developing this technology, the company has reportedly shown sample tech to potential partners and has even talked to Walmart about implementing it directly. Amazon is expected to open new Go locations in Chicago and San Francisco soon. Microsoft is making interesting moves.
This is a big deal to me because okay, so Amazon Go, they're putting the technology. They have one store in Seattle. They're planning two more. Okay. And they're going to put it in Whole Foods, right? I mean, they're not as big as Walmart, but they're a big chain. This to me is like Microsoft saying, okay, well, I'll see your little dinky operation at Whole Foods and I'll raise you Walmart. You know? So we're talking about like the biggest retailer in the U.S. and Microsoft is trying to it looks almost like
Amazon's trying to like own the full stack essentially. Like they want the store, they want the technology in the store, they want everything, and Microsoft is like, no, we don't need everything. We just want to have this.
We'll see if they can do it, because I think the challenge here is that Microsoft's sort of cloud processing capability is not quite as big as Amazon's is with AWS. So we'll see how that works out for them.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Yeah. Well, we'll see though, because Microsoft buying GitHub and making this move right now is probably the kind of stuff that they need to do. I don't know if it's best for consumer interest, but if I'm just thinking about this from a Microsoft point of view, this is the kind of stuff that they need to do. They were early with the whole Windows thing. They were early and on the ball with technology back then. Then they tried for quite a while with different hardware stuff. Obviously, Xbox was quite successful, but outside of that,
Windows Phone, Zune, etc.
Okay, Zune was amazing.
Well, the product may have been good, but it just didn't catch on in the marketplace for two different things. So
Zune music software was sweet, and the Zune itself was amazing. It just didn't.
They were just late to the party. They were just late to the party because by the time Zune was really, people started reviewing it positively, like, oh, iPod was already a thing. So
I do really wish that Zune kind of took off, but it didn't. So
I feel like everyone is pivoting their business a little bit these days. Like it feels like every large firm is doing it to some degree. So.
It makes sense because a lot of the guys have been doing the same thing for a long time. Speaking of Microsoft, Steam is dropping Windows XP and Vista support in 2019. This was posted by SC2 Mitch on the forum. Again, we always have one from him. They're starting on January 1st, 2019. Steam will officially stop supporting the Windows XP and Windows Vista operating systems.
Press F to pay respects.
This means that after that date, the Steam client will no longer run on those versions of Windows. I suspect it's just not getting updates.
They could lock out access to the Steam store.
They could, because it's essentially a browser.
I don't know if they're going to, but they could. So
the newest features in Steam rely on an embedded version of Google Chrome, which no longer functions on older versions of Windows. Yeah, so I don't think you'll get updates. For the remainder of 2018, Steam will continue to run and launch on Windows XP and Windows Vista, but other functionality in Steam will be somewhat limited. New features such as the Steam chat will not be available. I don't know if people running those systems will care, so we'll see. Gmail can remind you to reply. That's actually super cool. As part of its new design, Gmail has started resurfacing old unanswered emails with a suggestion that you should reply. By bumping the email thread to the top of your inbox, Gmail also breaks the chronological order of your inbox, which is kind of poo, but you can probably disable this. Gmail lets you disable all smart features. There we go. The very next note. Some users don't want smart categories, important emails first, and smart reply suggestions. You can tick off the boxes, suggest emails to reply to, and suggest emails to follow up on if you don't want to see this orange text ever again. I do want to see it personally, so I'm going to leave that there.
This is me spitballing. But I'm guessing they probably integrated like the priority feature. You know, like where it marks certain things as
so they use
important
the form of
because
that.
because you would hate for it to tell you to reply to an email, hey, a Walmart.com sale, save 50% on paper towels, and you wouldn't want to get nags to reply to that, but So
someone in chat said Steam did a hardware survey a while back. They probably saw it wasn't worthwhile to continue support. Yeah, I recently checked it out because I was having a bad day, and I was really frustrated with the fact that my Stream Deck from Elgato didn't work on Windows 8.1, and it hurts my brain that doesn't work. And it's so confusing because it's actually a pretty sweet piece of tech, and like alternatives that actually do all of the same things are way more expensive in most cases, and alternatives that do almost the same thing, well, they don't do quite the same thing.
Like they don't do exactly what you need,
And it's not even that I need it. I don't. I could just use a MIDI controller but it's cool. It's nice and small. The buttons are all framed. You can change what it shows on the screen. It's a really cool device, and it only works on Windows 10. It doesn't make any freaking sense to me. And what drove me nuts was because people have hacked it and forced it to work on other operating systems by just all they did in the one case was they took out the check that checks if you're on Windows 10, and it just works. It doesn't work anymore. They updated it, and now it doesn't work, but it did for a little while, and I can't find...
So what's the rationale to stop it from working on Windows 8.1?
I haven't got what I think of as a satisfactory answer. I'm sure there's something... What they've been saying is it's just too much to support, but what drove me nuts about that was that just taking the flag out made it work. But then, technically, they have updated it since then, and it doesn't work anymore. I doubt they forced that guy's hack to not work, so they probably just used something that doesn't work on previous versions of Windows, and now it doesn't work. It's just... The thing that drives me nuts is I looked into the Steam hardware survey, and all the people not using Windows 10 is a pretty huge market share. And I can't imagine that it wouldn't be worth the dev work to have that available market share. Now, something that they may have done in terms of market research is looking at, well, the people that aren't using Windows 10, are they willing to buy it? Maybe they're not using Windows 10 because they don't have the money to have a newer computer. That's possible. I don't see the merit in that, but that could be what Elgato's seeing.
I wonder if it has to do anything with just some sort of CYA kind of security thing, where they're just saying, oh, well, it's an older version of Windows, it's just kind of less secure by default, and we don't want to be blamed if something goes wrong with our product because they're running like an older version of Windows. It could be as simple as that, so who knows?
Yeah, someone said it was free to upgrade. Yeah, but some people with, like, I'm talking... Yeah, some people... No, that's a good point. I don't know. I don't know what their reasoning is. I can't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. But anyways, I was looking up Steam hardware surveys to try to justify my rage because I really, really, really want this thing to work, but I cannot use Windows 10 because I will rip my eyes out. Anyways, I can't use the freaking Stream Deck because I can't find the executable for the version that works with just the flag taken away. I can GitHub download the hack that removes the flag. That's fine. I can't find the executable for the installer that works that way, and I don't care about whatever new updates they have. It doesn't matter to me at all. So yeah. Anyways, that's why I've seen. Yeah, there's basically no one running XP and Vista on Steam anymore. Moral of the story.
There you go.
Because I looked up the Steam hardware surveys, and yeah, it's a pretty small percentage. Someone in chat said Windows 10 is 55.5%, Windows 7 is 33.57%, Windows 8.1 is only 4.07%. Yeah, that's fine. My thing is, if they make it work for Windows 7, which is 33.6 essentially percent of the audience, which is a huge percentage, it will work for 8.1. It will. Or it'll be one of those situations where we can just remove the flag of them saying that it won't work for 8.1 and it'll install just fine. I'm not trying to say that everyone uses Windows 8.1. I realize I'm in a very small category there, but Windows 7 is huge. And I want to lean on that to be able to get support for older versions of Windows that will essentially include Windows 8.1.
Yeah.
Because 7 to 8.1 compatibility is very good.
Going 2 more is a little bit more of a stretch though, so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it for the WAN show.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, I think so. There's no other topics.
Super Smash Brothers is going to have 65 characters for Switch.
Is that not in here?
I'm looking right at it.
Why did I not see it? What other news did I miss?
That's basically it, though.
Okay. Yeah. I must have just scrolled right over it. Yeah, it's a bajillion characters. I think they said
everyone that's ever fought in a Smash game is in this game.
Okay. Is it true, though? Because I saw people talking about Waluigi. Was Waluigi ever in a Smash game?
I don't know. Maybe it's a trophy. I don't know if you could actually select him to fight, though. I forget.
Whoa. Motherboardvice.com has a counterpoint. F Waluigi. He doesn't deserve to be in the new Smash Bros. That's a little aggressive, guys.
Yeah, he's kind of an irritating character. I think they might have a point.
Oh, my goodness. It's yeah. So everyone that's in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate except for Waluigi, essentially. Waluigi missing from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I don't care. Someone might care.
Maybe he was left out intentionally.
Maybe.
Maybe he'll be DLC. Could you imagine? I could just imagine the storm that would happen if they had like the Waluigi DLC.
Yeah,
that would be really funny to see.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
cost $60 for one character. So there is a new score counter that pops up during 101 fights when anybody is KO'd. Each fighter has gotten some kind of graphical tweak to some degree, which makes sense. There's 2 new playable characters: Ridley, the alien pterodactyl boss from the Metroid series, and Inklings, the squid kids from Splatoon.
They were already in Mario Kart, so they just added them to Smash now. So
I don't know if anyways, fighters must now choose their battleground stage before picking a character. That's different. It's always the other way around, right?
Yeah, that's weird.
That actually makes sense.
It says due to professional players favoring certain stages for certain characters.
Yeah,
okay,
so that makes sense. A picture-in-picture preview window when any combatant is launched off the screen. That also makes sense to me. But yeah, apparently it will launch on Nintendo Switch on December 7th, 2018. Cool.
Just in time for Christmas.
Sounds like I'll be getting yet another game for my Switch on December 7th, 2018.
They should have released it on Black Friday just to see the meltdown.
Oh god, I'm really happy they did.
just like the parking lot butt whoopings.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
Hyrule Fight Club 24/7, pretty much. Hyrule Castle is the only map from me, boy. Yeah. Anyways, that's actually it for WAN Show. That was probably loud. Sorry, headphone users. And we'll see you next week when your ears stop bleeding.